course, Daniel Straus, he's been gone for a while. Honestly,
Yeah, yeah,
we haven't had an interview with him just because of he's been out for whatever reason, injuries and not having a job, and just like it's just rough time.
yeah, yeah.
MMA is not the best spot, but I read some interesting facts, and correct me if I'm wrong. You're already a two-time champ, right?
Yes, sir.
You've got the belt
Yes, sir.
twice, and now you got it now. Pitbull, your opponent, you guys, this will be your fourth time fighting each other,
Yeah.
and all
With the
four
win.
times have been underneath Bellator. You fought all four times in Bellator.
Yeah. All four times have been under Bellator. We fought once in the tournament. I think it was like back in 2011, and then we had the epic rematch where lost in the last seconds with the choke, and then the third one was when I broke my hand, and now we're about to run it back again.
I mean, it's so much easier to prepare for a guy the second time you face him,
Yeah.
and then it's got to be a little bit easier to prepare for him for the third time you face him. But isn't this kind of getting redundant now on the fourth time?
Yeah, it's one of those things, man. Like, I'm not gonna say he's not deserving of it. I'm not gonna say I'm not tired of it either. But it is what it is. He's the guy. I'm a type of guy that if you sign on that dotted line, I don't care who you are, I'm fighting you. I didn't ask for him. I don't know how it came up, but he was the next guy that I was gonna fight again. So when I came in the contract, I was like, let's run it. I'm ready to go.
Yeah, but you're always ready to go for anybody, and like you said, you are tired of this going back and forth, this constant battle, of the same guy all the time.
Mm-hmm.
And this is your fourth time. You've already lost to him twice, correct? You
Yes.
beat him one time. Is that
Yes.
right? Okay.
Yes.
So for you, you win this one. You're still only 500 against him.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So it's
Um,
like it's a pretty decent matchup, and the fans, and I understand why the promotion's doing it because it's still a
it's a good
crapshoot. We
fight.
like that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
What's your
Um, Good.
what are the coaches saying about it? What are the coaches saying when you were like, "Hey, I'm fighting this guy again"? What do the coaches do?
Same thing. Really? You fighting him again? And it's like they've been supportive. They've been, it the same reaction all the fans and everybody's had is the same reaction that the coaching staff has had, I've had, but you get that reaction and it's, the hell with it. Let's get on to it. You know what I mean? It's a done deal. So once we knew who it was, we took a couple of days. Fuck, but we get to business. You know what I mean? That's our job. I know we throw some good fights and some barn burners, and I'm just ready to get over with them. And like you said, even though I know like in on paper I'll be 500 with him, to me in my head like he knows. You
Yeah.
know, he took that
Well,
ass whooping the second fight, the third fight, and he's gonna take another one this fight. So.
the folks at home may not know because it's been so long since you have fought. Your last
Mm-hmm.
fight was against him, and that was
Yep.
back in November 8th of 2015, and that was your first
Yep.
victory over him.
Yes.
So now you got the momentum obviously is going on your side, but you've been inactive, and he's been extremely active since then. Even though he did go down and fight, or went up and fought Benson Henderson and got beat up pretty good. Um, do you think that Benson Henderson loss is weighing on him quite a bit coming into this fight with you?
I don't think so. I mean, I know he had broke his leg in that fight, and he kind of set out a little bit, and I think we're kind of even kill, not even kill, but we're kind of coming in there on the same momentum. We've both been out on the injury. He's been out a little bit. I think he had like 2 fights while I was out, so it's not like he's been fighting all these guys and having this crazy wave and whatnot. He's coming back with the same mentality, and he's ever since we fought the first time or the second time. I'll say the second time because I'll give it to him. I've always said I gave him the first one fairly. I felt it was a close fight, but I give it to him. But ever since that second fight, he has not wanted to fight me. He has not wanted to put these gloves on and see me. And with this one, like being the fourth one, it's the same mentality. I go in there, I'm coming to kill. He's coming back from an injury. I'm coming from an injury. But my mindset is, the injury doesn't bother me. If I have to go in there and break it again, I will. I'm coming to win.
So you've had 3 surgeries since the last time you were off, and
Yes,
and
sir.
everybody knows. I talk about it in all the interviews. Fighters, if you're not fighting, you're not earning money. How did you survive during that time off? Plus rehab and all that other things that go into getting back from surgeries. Like it was,
Yeah.
how'd you survive?
Well, number one, I gotta say a big shout out to Bellator, man. They definitely took care of me with my rehab and my surgeries. I haven't had to dish out a dime for that. They never pressured me to hurry up and get back, or we're gonna strip you. Nothing like that. They just say, chill out. When you heal up, we'll see you. And I haven't worried about being stripped or anything like that. So that's been one plus. But outside of that, I just I had my savings, and that was it. And that's ran up, and so it's feasting time. And it's been hard. My fiance is a teacher, so she doesn't make crazy money. You know what I mean? So it's like, well, we did what we had to do to survive, but it wasn't like we were, I was balling out of control, or I had this crazy, fun that I've been living off of.
Yeah.
It's been a struggle. It's been hard, but just sticking to what I needed to do.
Mentally, how tough was it for you?
It was probably one of the hardest things I've been through
Yeah.
so far yet in this sport. I've had ups and downs. Everyone knows I had the arrest. I broke my hand before, and this was something that was different because my body was ready to fight, but my hand just was not letting me. I had the first hand surgery. I had rotation in the bone. The second time, it just didn't take. I had two bone grafts, and the third one was finally it was healing up. So it's been a wave of emotions. You know what I mean? Like I said, I've had my ups, I've had my downs. I had the days where I sat and just cried. There's been days where there's times I was in the gym with one cast and still sparring. So like I said, I've had my ups and downs. I felt good and like, let's get to it. And other days where I just had to sit back and just watch the game.
Yeah, it's got to be tough. It's a lot different when you're like, I want a break. I want to take a little bit of a break anyway. So surgery comes at the right time where I can actually give myself a break and not be around. But then you're like,
Right.
come on, doc, this is the third one, and I want to be working out. I'm trying to get workouts in. I can't do it because my hand's not healed. Like, what do I got to do? Did you have to change like diet or do different exercise to get it to finally take, or was it literally just the procedures that the doc was doing is completely out of your control?
I think it was a little bit of both. I had a great surgeon. I was out in California, but the thing of it was I was flying out to California and I was trying to do my therapy in Florida. So on my third surgery, I actually had the surgeon in Florida that was looking over me the whole time. And the third surgery was the one where I was like, you know what? Sit still, be still. When it's time, it's time. And I let my body heal up, my mind healed up, and eventually my hand healed up. And I think that's what it was.
Yeah, and that's the hardest part for a fighter, any athlete really,
Yeah.
is that downtime. Is like just take a break, let your body heal up, and get yourself into it. So now, how long have you really been able to fully spar, like get out there and really really smash guys out, and not fearing, oh hey, I might hurt my hand again?
The first time I think was in October. I think October is when I got cleared. And for those that don't know, this fight's been a long time coming. In October I was cleared. I was itching. Hey, put me on the schedule. Put me on the schedule. And in November I was told, hey, you're gonna be fighting in January. So I've been in training camp since November. I was supposed to fight in January. January came, they pushed me back to February. February came, they pushed me back to April. So I've been in camp this whole time. So it's not like and that's been the tough part about it too. You've been itching and itching to fight, and just things fell apart. They wanted me to fight on a bigger card. They wanted me to fight main event. So the opportunity was good, but like we were saying earlier, if I'm not fighting, I'm not making money. So it was one of those things. It's
Yeah.
a pat on the back because they trusted me to put on a good show, but at the same time, hey, put me on the undercard if you got to. I need to get to business.
So I got to ask you, and you may not even know because you guys might not have had the conversation yet, but how did your fiance handle this whole mess? Because she's got to deal with going to work, coming home, and going, I'm the breadwinner. My man can't fight.
Yeah.
Now I got to deal with him emotionally as well when I come from school to dealing with these. I'm assuming she's dealing with kids at school.
Yeah. She's a third grade teacher. Well, the one thing I gotta say, man, about I have a tremendous support system. She's great. She's always believed in me. She's never like hassled me. Hey, heal up. Also, my child's mother is another big support
Oh,
system. Spent a lot of time with my child while my hand was down. So between the two of them, which we're all great. We actually all three went to high school together, which is funny. But
good.
I've really had a great support system. Everyone was just like, when you're ready, you'll be ready. You can't force something that's not there. And that's what really, like I was saying in the third surgery, what really helped me heal was, you know, instead of trying to hurry up and get back, I let these people, I finally got to lean on somebody, and between fans or family, they really allowed me to heal up and do what I needed to do. So it was hard for both of us, and it wasn't the easiest, but it wasn't something that was like we're dirt poor and we
Yeah.
but yeah, it was tough.
Yeah, no, it's hard, and I've never talked to a champ ever that has not had a great support system, no matter what was
Yeah.
going on. Like every champ has a great support system before they become the champ. Like it's established beforehand. Of
Oh
course,
yeah.
every champ has got the hangers and the cousins that come
Right.
out of the woodwork you haven't talked to in 20 years, and obviously you start getting famous. They think you got money, and all that happens to every champ. But every champ, if you go back and look at the timeline, they have an amazing support system that sets them up and gets them in that space. It sounds like they put you in the right space to be able to go out there and do your job. Now, I know as a fighter, you're going to say, I can hit just as hard with this hand. I have no doubts because of this hand. If this fight was in January, I might have doubted you because you're clear in October. You really had time to test it. But you've
Right.
had plenty of time now to test it because this is April this fight's happening.
Right. And I agree. Like I said, one thing we've been saying, it was a blessing in disguise the way that
Yeah.
it's been set up, because I was pushing and pushing to get back so hard that even though I was cleared, it was still, hey, settle down. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Get back to it. It'll come. It'll come. So, that was one thing that, was definitely a blessing in disguise, because, I was ready to throw it. And like I said, if I break it again, I just break it again. Well, now I know it's not that, it's not, I'm not timid. I'm not, scared to throw it. I'm not, in a rush to get back or anything like that. But it's now I'm more comfortable with, how I feel with my hand. My grip strength is back, 100%, if not better. I've been training. I've been doing my strength and conditioning. I've been doing everything I was doing before. So I'm definitely, like you said, more confident now in April than I would have been in January.
Did Bellator give you a reason to why the fight kept getting pushed?
They did. Um, First, I was actually going to fight co-main on that what was that, Sun card,
Yep.
and it got through the wire to the big guys upstairs, and I'm like, no, we don't want this fight on co-main. We want a main event. So the next one was, I think, a Kansas fight, and they're like, we don't want it on one of these small shows either. So the next big one was going to be this one. So
Yeah.
it was, hey, sit or build a fan base. So I'm kind of lucky because, like I said, man, it's a blessing in disguise. I've gotten people to look at me more. People have gotten to pay attention to me more, and see what I'm about, see my activities, and see how far I've come, and it's here now.
So have you had to tweak anything? I mean, you might even remember what your last training camp was getting ready for Pitbull. Is it the same training camp? Did you have to tweak something a little bit differently? I mean, I know obviously because your hand, you had to be a little bit different in November, December, January, but I'm sure
Right.
everybody was right back the way you were before. It was,
Yeah, it's like any camp. You always want to be able to, you always want to be tweaking something. You want to be learning or improving in something. So this camp is the same thing. I've tweaked some things, some on the stand up, some on the ground. I've continued training in certain things I was training before. Again, some on the stand up, some on the ground. And, it's always that, what do you bring new to this fight? What are you going to do differently that's going to be able to surprise your opponent? What are you going to do in this fight that, I looked at the past fights. I looked at the things I did well. I looked at the things that he did well. And I tried to improve on the things that I was lacking in, and I tried to improve also on the things I was doing well in. So it's always a learning process, and it's always a growing period.
so there obviously there's a ton of great studs down there. we feed or train with. I mean, you got an amazing room. Who are your main training partners though getting you ready for this? Like, who are the guys who were there every single practice that were mimicking Pitbull's style?
Actually, I don't have like a main training partner. I train with everybody. I go hard with everybody. You know, all the big dogs that are down there, like, and all the little guys that are down there. And that's the thing about ATT. There's
Yeah.
a lot of guys that, you know, you may not even hear about that are just, you know, they're given the same look. They, you know, we have Matt that's fighting for the UFC. He's fighting actually the day after me. I worked with him a lot. Different coaches I worked with. I worked on my, you know, even my wrestling I worked on differently. So I didn't have a main partner, one guy per se that I worked with every day because I wanted to get an all-around look. So I worked with, and all my camps are like that. I've never have had a camp where I'm like, hey, I need you to mimic this guy because I need to be ready for that guy plus other guys, you know. So I've always worked with everybody.
That's actually a pretty awesome attitude. It's a pretty smart. A lot of guys go. There's two ways people doing camps right now. They're either going very specific, where this camp is all about me, and I'm just going to train. You know, have a bunch of fighters that mimic the guy I'm fighting, and that's the look I'm going to get, and that's how I'm going to do it. And the other end of the training camp is like I'm competing with everybody in the room every day, and I'm going to just test myself. I'm going to test myself out every day with different looks, so that whatever my opponent does doesn't surprise me. And it's really 50-50 of which one works and which one doesn't. It's what's better for you. Which side works better for you? There's no real way to do a training camp. This is the only way to do a training camp. This is how it has to be done. Like your way kind of works for a lot of people. You know that's just like I'm gonna compete with everybody and beat everybody up in the room, and then see what happens when the fight starts. And this is how it's going to work.
To me, that's been a confidence builder because if I can go in and I can beat a guy that's a stand-up guy, and if I can go in and I can beat a guy that's a ground guy, my confidence is at an all-time high. Whereas if I'm just working with a guy that, you know, has tremendous grounding, but I'm getting smacked all over the place on the feet, it doesn't do me any well. It doesn't do me any good. So, you know, like you said, I've always been that type of fighter. It always worked for me, and I've always, you know, I've always improved that way because, you know, like I said, I get both sides. You know, I get what he's good at. I get what he's not good at. You know, I get guys that fight just like me, and I'm surprised because now I'm having to fight myself. And which I have to realize that may be a fight where I have to fight myself, you know, not me per se, but, you know, a fighter that's just like me. So, you know, you just keep working with everybody.
Yeah, smart. I like it. Dan, thanks so much for coming on here, man. Have a great rest of your training camp. Good luck in the fight. I can't wait to see you guys. Can't wait to see you come back, man. It's gonna be great.
I appreciate it. Thank you.
You got it. Take care.
Later, man.